Through the busyness of everyday life, freedom, happiness, and chaos are constants. The rights and liberties designed by our country's founding fathers and that are continued to be protected by the brave men and women serving in the United States Armed Forces. The sacrifices made by these people and their families are unfathomable, the cost taking a toll on their mental, physical, and emotional spiritual health. The gift provided for us by every scientist, commander, and soldier is the ability to live in a safe and free environment. Freedom of speech, religion, and press are all the basic rights that do not come without a price, and that price is paid every day by any personnel who did or is serving our country in any capacity.
Everett P. Lawlor was born in Asbury Park, New Jersey, and remained there until the age of 11, with his parents and 2 brothers. With all the twists and turns on the roller coaster of life, Lawlor ended up residing near Lake Okaliak in year 1981. At just 17 years old, he enlisted in the Pennsylvania Army National Guard. This was done through a program called Split Training, which enabled him to complete high school and also basic training at the same time. With this, he quickly rose through the ranks, making meaningful connections, brotherhoods, and sisterhoods that will last decades.
Mr. Lawlor's father, Michael Lawlor, was a significant part of the reasoning behind joining the military at such a young age for Ed. Michael Lawlor served in the Army as a light-wheeled mechanic.
He died when I was 12. So one of the reasons I wanted to join the military was because he was in the military. And he was proud of that time. He was out before I was born, but he was very proud of that time, growing up around and hearing it a lot. So my mother went ahead and signed the paperwork for me to join early. I was 17 when I joined the military. So she had to actually approve that. And so she did. She signed the paperwork so that I could join when I was 17. She was proud for me to follow my father's footsteps.
The impact Michael had on his 3 boys' lives was notable, eventually leading all 3 boys to dream of defending our country.
At a young age and diving straight into an honorable career as part of the National Guard, Mr. Lawlor's personality had quickly changed, and many people saw the difference.
Kind of funny, I was a person of obscurity in high school, kind of just bottom end of the high school rung. I didn't really hang out with a lot of people. When I joined the military, I joined in December, and then I went to split up in June. So what happened was, between December and June, those months, more people got to know that I had joined the military. So I actually became very popular through the end of my junior year, and then my senior year, when I came back and had a different personality. You learn that the things that you think were important aren't as important when drill instructors are instructing you on the ability to cope with different things that you're going to have to. So you learn different coping methods and things like that. So I came back a completely different person and was well recepted into my high school.
With growing up faster and faster with every training and every new situation, Mr. Lawlor was still dedicated to serving and protecting our country, even if it wasn't necessarily the easiest.
As Mr. Lawlor grew up, along with completely the normal National Guard training, which is 1 weekend a month and 2 full weeks a year, he had a complete civilian life that included maintaining a job. Slowly, Mr. Lawlor completed many different trainings and continued to constantly learn more and more about the equipment of the military. Along with his weapon training, he also had other military jobs like field sanitation NCO. This job included making sure that people didn't get sick out in the field through the way they ate, slept, and general living environment.
Through the many different trainings and following in his father's footsteps, Mr. Lawlor enjoyed learning about the weapon systems and vehicles, the equipment and electronics end of the military. When asked what his least favorite part of the training, his response was,
eating in the rain. Anything in the rain. We did everything in the rain. But the motto for the Army is, if it's not raining, it's not training. So.
At this point of Mr. Lawlor's career, he was an E5 and a team leader, inspiring his comrades in any way, shape, or form. Soon after, he began instructing others in what became his favorite part of serving.
Teach the entire weapon system from the ground up, the entire everything, breaking track to taking the gun system apart, everything, the turret. So I learned a lot of different mechanical parts, and I guess I never strayed from that. When I got in for basic training, I wanted to do that stuff. So that's what led me into the different leadership roles I had with the training position and stuff. It's because I really immersed myself into the equipment that we learned and used so that I can train others.
After 12 years of service, Mr. Lawlor made the decision to leave the force.
I had gotten out after 12 years of service because I wanted to get promoted and I couldn't get promoted, and it was just a big rigmarole, and I said, all right, fine, I'm done. And I got out.
He lived a civilian life for a year and 10 months.
The devastating terrorist attack on the Twin Towers, the Pentagon, as well as the plane that went down in Pennsylvania, gave Edward a spark to re-enlist. Mr. Lawlor re-enlisted on the date of September 9, 2011. He described the transfer back into the military side of his life in a few short words.
I kind of went right back into that. You know, I got to go back in. I got to actually train and deploy with my men that I had trained previously. So it was all the same. I went right back into the same unit, same rank, because I was out less than 2 years. So I kind of went right back into home. It was like going home.
After 9/11, he deployed for 3 years, 1 year to Bosnia with the Stabilization Force Bosnia, and for 2 separate years to Iraq for Operation Iraqi Freedom. On March 30th, 2004, he became the father of a little girl named Beth. With the mission of creating a safe world for his wife and child, he continued to serve for 2 years after his final deployment to Iraq. Staff Sergeant Lawlor retired from the service on April 20th, 2011, with a strong sense that it was time.
From beginning to end, Mr. Lawlor's time serving had been supported by his wife Michelle, and every day, whether thousands of miles apart, was always standing there with him serving our country.
And nobody gives them the due. My wife is my biggest hero when it comes to this. I went away, my daughter was 8 months old. 8 months, and I went away for 2 years. When I came home, my daughter knew who I was. I was holding her within 20 minutes of coming home. I was able to hold my daughter because of what my wife did while I was away. She kept the family growing and going and paying bills and doing the day-to-day life stuff, so I didn't have to think about that stuff while I was away. I could focus on the mission.
From December 27th, 1987 to April 20th, 2011, Staff Sergeant retired Lawlor dedicated his time, energy, and strength in an attempt to sustain the freedoms to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and finally create a safe and peaceful environment for his family and all American citizens.